through you to our to the customer base. Yeah. So the call center is a pretty complicated space in the IT spectrum. Yeah, this is something that we've seen across the globe. Personally, in the past, I was based in Europe, I was based in the United States. We deployed, hundreds of call centers across the globe in my previous experiences. And, it's always the same challenges. And of course, those challenges have evolved, nowadays, since you have new technologies such as sentiment analysis and bots. But mainly those challenges are based around first the technology. Customers need to make sure that they have the right technology partner with them. But this is not enough. Yeah, the customers needs to complement the technology solution with proper business processes around the call center and with a customer-centric approach, with a customer-centric mentality within their agents and supervisor. So you need all these pillars. The customers need all these three pillars in order to provide the next generation experience. So what we do, of course, we provide the technology, but we also advise the customer on the business processes and on a customer-centric model to make sure that the customer has a next generation contact center that's a competitive edge, right? So this is kind of our unique value proposition. We're very strong in the technology, but we don't only provide the technology. We provide, as part of the service, advise on the business processes and the customer-centric model in order to evolve the customer contact center to the next level. Customer experience is a big thing, of course, these days. Many companies are struggling with that. So we make sure that whenever we're delivering the solution to our customer, that we design with them a proper CX experience that executes on the business requirement or the business initiatives that they have. Yeah. So here's kind of a high-level view of the HCCC, which is our cloud, the cloud name for the contact center and the telephony solution that we have. By the way, for customers who elect to have an on-premises solution, the same solution, everything you're hearing about today, can be rolled out on-premises. So we have customers that prefer the cloud these days in order to reduce the CapEx investment. And we have customer that says, no, I want to make sure this call center sits in our data center. We are flexible for both models. We have deployed also these call center in Azure. So for customers says are standardized on Azure, on Microsoft Azure, we can roll out these solutions, put them on a virtual machine coming from Azure, and of course offer our services around it if that's required. Yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit about the contact center solution. We're going to dig in that in details, but also, there's a telephony as a service, to provide office telephony. So for a customer who has, 500 extensions, extensions, telephony extensions, and a call center, it's the same platform. That's an integrated platform that can provide the complete solution to the customer. Of course, if customers have their own telephony, we can integrate our call center, whether it's in the cloud or on premises, with the customer's telephony. Yeah, and of course, there's various traffic that the platform can take, anywhere from DIDs. Of course, this is coming from the operators. Toll-free SIP trunk. We have many countries that are now deploying only SIP trunk as opposed to E1 or FXOs, and we can support, of course, all of these different traffic coming from the operator. So I'm going to introduce the ecosystem here, briefly, and we're going to take a deep dive into each one of this. From our perspective, it's very, very important when you are selecting a call center partner to make sure that you're selecting a partner that has a complete ecosystem. Because today your requirement might be voice only, but tomorrow you have the need for quality recording or workforce optimization or any new modules. So all of the platform that we provide, whether it's in the cloud or on premises, is a modular platform. Customers can start with the needed functionality, but this can evolve as the customers are ready to evolve into the next generation contact center. Okay, so here the first element, the heart, I would say, of the HCCC is a contact center platform. It has inbound functionality, outbound dialers, all the various media channels are supported. We're going to take a deeper dive in that, as I mentioned. But also for customers that has multiple shift, maybe 40 agents and up, There will be need for a workforce optimization, and we have natively a workforce optimization that is integrated with the contact center. Quality recording and monitoring, of course, this becomes extremely important these days for us, for a supervisor to rate the agent appropriately according to the KPIs of the business. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. But there's other elements that are also extremely important, such as AI and machine learning. You've heard about AI and machine learning, I'm sure, a lot in the industry. It's important for the call center these days to integrate with the AI and machine learning. We are natively integrated with all of the primary vendors, such as Microsoft Bot, Google Bot, and and other bots, as well. All of that are natively integrated. It's not up to the call center to go figure it out. It's kind of plug and play to connect. Of course, the bots always needs to be trained. We're going to talk a little bit about that. That's always kind of a learning curve. There's a learning curve for a bot. But also, very importantly, we have a unique platform called gamifications. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. This platform is mainly about motivating the agents, motivating the supervisor, because what we've seen across call centers, all over the world, that the job becomes a bit kind of a repetitive task. People lose interest after some time, and of course, if people lose interest, that reflects directly on the customer experience that they're providing or the customer service that we're providing. So this platform is about motivate the agents, motivate the supervisors to bring their game up to the next level in order not to affect the organization. We have a lot of third-party integrations that we have built. Those are natively kind of connectors. Microsoft CRM or Dynamics 365 with different ERPs, with different CRM providers. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Actually, Mohit, who is on the call with us today, he's going to show you an integration that we've recently have done with Dynamics 365 across different channels. The platform is integrated with an e-learning platform, also from Collab, from the same provider. So, for instance, if you want to make sure that any agents or any supervisor that you bring in the operation, that they are properly trained, that they are properly know the entire business that you have, the customer's business that the customer has. So what we can do is we can build curriculum specifically designed for you or for your customer, in case you are a partner, in order to make sure that whoever go through these classes, they are properly trained to handle the traffic. There's a mini interaction hub, a mini CRM embedded in the platform for customers who doesn't have the need for advanced CRM. There's a mini interaction hub that is natively via the platform. And of course, we talked a little bit about the telephony as a service. In a nutshell, this contact center that we're providing, has three core elements that we believe are essential for the success of the call center operation. This is a true omnichannel platform, right? So, we have customers that have, call center on the voice, but they have another tool handling chat, another tool managing emails, and we keep on advising them that with this kind of processes, when you don't have a proper governance around the omnichannel, it's very, very hard to manage, and you're creating complexity in the operation that you have. This solution is comprehensive, and comprehensive from the aspect that, any requirements that come up, if it's not natively available in the platform, we can add it in, we can customize it. So recently we have a customer that says YouTube. This is important for us to manage YouTube. So the team is now currently looking on how we can include YouTube as a channel as part of the operation in order to to execute on that customer initiative. So we have the ability to quickly incorporate additional channels on as needed basis. And the solution is flexible, and flexibility is key in the contact center, because when you look at some of the players in the industry, without going into heavy discussion around the competition, what they've done is they built OEM partnership with many providers. OEM partnership to provide chat, OEM partnership to provide recording or quality monitoring, right? When you do that, even though the solution might look very nice, overall, but you lose the flexibility. Everything we're talking about here today, except of the bot, is natively available from Collab. right? So we have the ability to customize the CX experience, and we've done that with many customers across the region in order to deliver a unique experience to the customer. Keep in mind that in the call center space, um, customers are challenged nowadays, because when you look at the space here in our region, you don't have the large call centers, the 5,000 agents, the 4,000 agents. You can probably name those, on one hand. You have a lot of small call centers, 3 agents, 5 agents, 50 agents, 100 agents. Yeah, and from a requirement perspective, those small call center have proven to have the same requirement as as the large call center. Of course, the large call centers can afford bringing a full team in place, a team of 5-6 people in order to manage the call center operation, because they have the they have the volume to do so. But when you have a small call center, 100 agents, 150 agents, how are you gonna design a proper CX when you cannot, as an organization, afford hiring a full team of people in order to manage that infrastructure? So this is where we come in with our solution. We help the customer install it, and if they want us, we can manage it on their behalf from a technology perspective in order to offer the competitive edge that their operation requires. By the way, if anybody has a call center, please feel free to type it. Meanwhile, I know we muted the people that are remotely connected. We'll be more happy to address any questions that you have at the end of the session. We're going to open up after a while in order to make sure we have proper audio throughout this session. Okay, so from a contact center user perspective, you have multiple users. Of course, you have the customers who are calling in, and customers these days have the ability to to contact the call center via multiple channels. Of course, voice is one, video is one. We're going to talk about some of those apps. Chat, Skype, Facebook, Twitter are some of the examples of the channels that the customer wants to communicate with the contact center. But you also have the agent, and the agent needs to be, of course, logged in into the interface that we provide, and from there they will be able to handle all of the various channel and run all of the various modules that we have enabled for that specific customer. You have the supervisors and the admins. Those are important. Supervisors, of course, they want to manage their team. It's very important for them to have proper access with data, with statistics, with access to recording, ability to customize their own report. And you also have the admin, the IT team that sometimes they need access. We have a lot of customers says, I don't want to admin access, keep it with you, IT Max. We're perfectly okay with that. And we handle the administration on behalf of the customer. And we have a customer that says, no, I don't want to lose flexibility. I want complete admin, whether I'm in the cloud or whether I'm on premises. And of course, we can provide that to the customer. Okay, so here are the various channels that are supported today. Yeah, those are important channels, and we're going to talk about each one of those, in detail. Of course, email is a channel, right? Email is where a company publish email, such as support@redington.com, and any email that come to support@redington.com is distributed to an agent. Yeah, the value of that, to put it through the platform is you make sure that the email as a channel is managed, because a lot of times a lot of people creates a group on Outlook, for instance, and they have their team going into that group users in order to access emails. Well, the challenge with that is if you have a complaint, or if you as a supervisor want to make sure that that email is addressed, it's a very challenging task to do that if you call your IT department, right? So email as a channel is always recommended, right? And this, by the way, the email can be still hosted in Azure or Office 365. We're not, we don't have an email engine here. All what we do is we connect the email to the Office 365 or to any other email engine that the customer is using. Video as a channel is a very important channel. Of course, the video usage is increasing, and it's going to keep on increasing as 5G is more and more introduced. So a lot of times the traffic these days might be voice, but we believe the video traffic, and statistically speaking, this is going to grow exponentially as the network operators are evolving from LTE to 5G. The ability of the video as a channel here within the platform is to see what the customer, and the customer can see you. So imagine you have an agent that has a video camera, and the customer has a video on their end, whether they're using a PC or whether they're using a smart handhelds. The customer can see the agent can see the customers, and of course when you do that, you have additional senses that are being, because the customer and the agent can see each other, and you can build a closer rapport between the agent and the call center. Of course, the video as a channel is only recommended whenever the bandwidth and the network would allow us to do so. So we operate, for instance, across many countries in Africa, and we don't recommend to enable video as a channel if the network or the bandwidth is not strong enough to support video. The voice is, of course, an important channel. A lot of customers, a lot of partners are familiar with voice. It can be an inbound, it can be an outbound in the sense of what can be manual outbound or predictive dialer. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. But also chat, where we have a plugin that will connect to a mobile app or can connect to a website of the customer. And anybody who goes to that website, they can start communicating directly with the agent via that add-on that we embed on the customer side. Skype as a channel, this is super important. Skype as a channel, as you're aware, the application has many users across the globe. We don't recommend that, in many countries where Skype is not allowed legally, right? But the platform has the ability to do that. So if you are in a country where Skype is not allowed, you don't know how the regulation will change. In 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, we believe the economy or the TRA regulation in your country might open up Skype as a channel. So you want to be ready as a platform to use that as a channel, if required, or when the market open up. Of course, you have many countries in our region where the deregulation has hit and Skype is allowed to be used. The WhatsApp for Business, you probably heard about the WhatsApp for Business. This is something that was introduced a few months back by WhatsApp. As you can see, the icon here, it has a B in the middle. So it's a bit different from probably the mobile app that you use today. But the WhatsApp for Business has rules and policies around how the customer can use that in a contact center environment. So it's not designed, for instance, to blast, to enable that in a platform and blast thousands and thousands of users. There's rules and regulation, but if you elected to use our platform, we can navigate you to get the necessary approval through WhatsApp in order to enable that as a channel. Facebook, Twitter are social network examples also that can be managed via the contact center. On the right side of the screen here, we have various click to call, click to chat, click to video, click to call back. Those are icons that can be embedded on your website or the website of your customers in order to initiate a video call natively via the PC. So imagine I'm a customer, I'm surfing through your website, I have an icon that says click to video. I click on this icon and I can establish a video communication directly with that, with the agent, right? Same concept for click to call, click to chat, and click to call back. Yeah. So as you can see, this is a comprehensive omni-channel, platform, which we have the ability to include additional channels, as I mentioned previously. And customers don't need to start with all these different modules. A lot of times the customer might start with voice or voice and email, but later on expand into chat, expand into other modules on an as-needed basis. So this is the intelligent routing that is available via the platform. By the way, on the left side of the screen here, you see something that's called flow that's natively in the platform. With this flow, you can integrate with anything that you want to integrate. You can integrate to email. You can integrate to bot, whether a bot is Microsoft bot or other bots that the platform is already integrated with. So we have the ability, and you will have the ability, if you elect to have the admin access, to change the behavior, change the integration on the fly. Right? It's not like if you're a cloud platform, you're boxed in and you don't have the flexibility. You have complete flexibility over your tenant if you elect to have that complete flexibility. Yeah. So this flow will enable you to play around with your call flow, play around with the customer experience in order to to design the experience that your business requires. On the right side of the screen here, you see different ways for the inbound, right? The inbound traffic. There's different ways we can program the inbound traffic. Of course, the most basic way is most idle agent, where if I'm an agent and Junaid is an agent, Junaid is more idle than me, then he will get the interactions as opposed to me. Last agents here, I'm going to talk about a couple of examples. The last agent, for instance, this is how you build rapport between the agent and the call center. So imagine a customer came in and you entertain their call. Next time they call in, the system can detect that that agent specifically handled that interaction previous to the customer, and we can route that interaction to the same agent. Of course, skills-based routing is another option as well that is embedded in the platform, and we can program that. So whenever we're rolling out a routing strategy for a customer, we learn their business, we see which one of these modes work best for their business. Keep in mind that some of these modes can operate at the same time, so you can operate most available, most idle, and skill-based routing simultaneously with the same contact center for different groups of users. And this will allow us to navigate the traffic, or to let the traffic flow via the platform in the most efficient way that is possible. So this is the outbound dialer, that is embedded in the platform. So with the outbound dialer, you have different pace. You have, of course, the preview dial, and the preview dial is about scheduling a call. Imagine the agent has a call at 5 o'clock that is scheduled with a customer. You want to make sure that at 5 o'clock, the agent will actually call the customer. So all of that is automated in the system. So in the CRM, whether it's a CRH, the customer interaction hub that's embedded in the platform, or whether the customer using a homegrown CRM or one of the leading CRM in the market, they can pick a specific time, a specific date, and the system will call the customer automatically. This way, make sure we're delivering on the promises of calling the customer at the right time. Power Dialer, this is more kind of a campaign that is uploaded in the system. And imagine 5,000 name, 10,000 name, 1 million name are uploaded in the system. And what the system does at that point in time is it makes sure that there's an agent that's reserved, the agent is available, and then we call the customer. So imagine I'm an agent, I'm calling the customer, and then the customer might accept or might not accept, might answer or might not answer. If it's answered, I talk to them. If it's not answered, the call is dropped, and then the system will dial the next call. And the predictive dial, the last option here, is the fastest mode. This is where we size up the traffic, means the trunks, in a proper way depending on how many agents they have. So sometimes we might have 2-to-1 ratio between trunks to agent, or 3-to-1 depending on what kind of operation we're talking about. And the system dials automatically the people based on the uploaded list. And as soon as the system detects a voice, a live human person on the other end, we will connect the caller to a customer. Of course, this is used in order to push traffic. We have a lot of customers that started with preview, made sure the agents that are comfortable with the preview, then they up the notch, they went to power, and now they're on predictive dial, right? So you don't need to start with predictive dial, because the predictive dial might be overwhelming for the agent from a traffic perspective. We can very easily start with preview or a power and up the speed of the platform to predictive dial. So these are the interfaces that we're talking about, that the agent will use. Of course, we use WebRTC, which is standard for web dialing, these days. Yes, so the agent will be using WebRTC technology via the browser that they're using. We also have a mobile app where the agent can log in, or a supervisor can log in order to take traffic. Right. So imagine, I'm an agent. I have to leave my business office or my home office because I need to take a break, or I need to go see a customer. I can always be logged in via the agent interface from my mobile and still be able to take interactions. These are the access for the supervisor and the portal. So basically, it's a browser interface. You put in a username and a password, and you'll be able to access the supervisor interface. Of course, in a supervisor, you can get historical data, you can get real-time data, you can get dashboards, you can listen to recordings, you can customize your own report as well. All of that functionality is available via the platform. Yeah. And there's also an admin portal. If you elect to retain the administration of the platform, then you can log in order to administer it from an IT perspective. Okay, so now let's move a little bit to the workforce optimization, and I'm going to talk about some of these topics on a high level today for the sake of time. Yeah, but I understand that a lot of times these topic workforce optimization, we can schedule a full hour just based on that. By the way, the workforce optimization works with the one contact, with the contact center from Collab. It will work also for other call centers from the industry where we already have a connector, such as Cisco call center or Avaya call center or other call centers where we have built a connector. Yeah. With the workforce optimization, this will allow the supervisor to forecast the traffic, right? Forecast the traffic based on history, based on certain events, right? So imagine this is the Ramadan season, and we want to look at the traffic that happened at the same time of the year last year. But of course, the Ramadan changes from a time frame perspective. We can also look at the Ramadan traffic as well, and forecast specific traffic. And based on that forecast traffic, we can publish the schedule of the agent. So imagine Junaid is an agent, but Junaid is studying for his MBA. He is not able to work on Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 3 to 5 p.m. We can put all of that information in the system, and the system, the workforce optimization platform, will publish a schedule taking into consideration Junaid's schedule and other agents' schedule in a way that it will meet the traffic, the required traffic that is forecasted, right? So like I mentioned previously, the workforce optimization doesn't really apply for small call centers because a lot of times you can do this work via an Excel, right? But when you start going 40 agents and up, 200 agents, 500,000 agents and up, you will need a platform such as this in order to be able to schedule the agents properly. This is a recording and quality monitoring platform. This is embedded natively in the platform, right? So basically the supervisor can use the form designer that is available in the system in order to design the KPIs, or in order to include the KPIs that are needed for the business. So imagine this, I'm a supervisor. I want to make sure that my agents greet the customers correctly. In that form designer, I can include the question, did the agents greet the customer properly, right? And I can rate it from 1 to 5, right? 5 being outstanding performance, 1 being maybe a not desired performance. So all of that can be scheduled in the platform, right? This way, the supervisor can listen to a recording, right? And while they're listening to a recording, they can rate the agent on the various KPIs that they have designed in the system. Yeah, and of course you can have KPIs for email, you can have KPIs for chat, you can have KPIs for voice interactions, for CRM as well. If the agent is filling the CRM properly, all of that can be designed in order to create a holistic experience or 360-degree experience that we can measure and manage. Yeah. Keep in mind also that we have also introduced the sentiment analysis for the quality monitoring, where a bot leveraging the cognitive services of Microsoft can gauge the customer happiness or unhappiness on any specific interaction. So imagine I'm an agent, whether I'm in a customer service or whether I'm in a selling kind of call center. In real time, I can see if the customer is happy or unhappy, whether I need to change my approach based on the cognitive services of Microsoft, right? So super powerful tool to provide to the agent to ensure that on every customer interaction, customers are happy. A lot of time the agent would terminate a call nowadays and they feel that they've done a great job, but customers, doesn't feel the same thing. They feel that they're unhappy for a reason or not, right? If you are a supervisor or a general manager, you'll be able to gauge the satisfaction or the dissatisfaction of your customers with any specific agent by using an automated platform without without the need for a supervisor to go in and do the rating on every single interaction. Yeah, so to get that data is extremely important for the customer businesses. Talked briefly about gamification initially when I introduced the concept. This is kind of a unique portfolio, even though the gamification is a big industry. But in the call center, I believe Collab was the first party and probably the only party that have introduced gamification to the level that they've introduced. Yeah. As mentioned previously, the agent's work become monotone after some time. Yeah. How do we make sure to motivate the agent? And of course, you have supervisors and businesses where they motivate the agent naturally, right? But you have other people that don't motivate naturally. Whether you motivate naturally or you don't, you want to put a structure around the motivation mechanism of your agent, right? This way you make sure that this is not biased, it's transparent, it's consistent day in and day out to drive the proper happiness of the agent, which we believe drives customer satisfaction. So this is what the platform is all about. So as an example, also this is a topic that we'll be more happy to schedule, a full session just on this. But imagine that, you have team one challenging team two for best customer experience, right? So team one is challenging team two, and of course you can have rewards, you can have prizes. Those rewards can be something simple like a day off, or it can be increase in salary for 500 dirhams a month. It can be anything that you elect it to be, and they are challenging each other. So what will happen in this situation? Well, the behavior that we've seen happen in this location is that team one are going to work closely together. Why? Because they want to win. And same for team two, where the best agent in team one is going to help the other lower performer in the team in order to elevate their game, right? So, and this is the behavior that you want on the floor. You want, your best person, your best resources to help the lower performer or the newcomers in order to elevate their game. And this is the motivation that we're trying to drive through its gamification platform. The e-learning platform, this is very important. A lot of times when you look at the cost of training at a call center, it becomes to a huge cost, right? If you think about a typical life of an agent, when they are onboarded in an organization, they need to be trained anywhere from 3 days to months in some situation. Yeah, if you take the cost of that training and you add it up across all the customer defect ratio that you have in an organization, this will amount to a huge sum of money, right? And there is something, I would say, in a person-to-person training that sometimes is lost. Sometimes when you do person-to-person training, even though granted there are some benefits to that, but it doesn't mean that the agents are trained fully on all the various aspects that the business requires, right? So it's important, in our opinion, to have a structured training where we make sure that the agent, before they go live, before they start taking interactions, they are properly trained and maybe have applied for a test and they have succeeded the test before we put them on the floor, right? So, and this is what this e-learning allows us to do. Of course, we have standard courses available via the platform, but we have the ability, as I mentioned, to customize the training class depending on the customer's business. So we can send a trainer to sit down with a customer, sit down on the floor, listen to the recording, meet with the various stakeholders, and design a training class that will meet what the business requires. Of course, this is sometimes, I would say, an overkill for small call center. But when it comes to large call center, It's super, super important to structure the learning, whether you use this platform or you use other learning management system platform. The added value here is that this platform is integrated with the call center, right? So basically what we can see is we can see the performance of the agent on the floor, and automatically via this learning management system, we can flag necessary training classes, maybe where the agent is not performing to the level that they should perform at. This is a customer interaction hub or third-party integration. We have integrated with many systems. Of course, Microsoft Dynamic or Dynamics 365. This is something that already there's a native connector for that. There are other platforms here I'm not going to talk much about, but we also have the mini customer interaction hub that's available via the platform. A lot of times the customer says, I don't want to be going through full CRM rollout. I have basic functionality, so we can offer them this CIH hub, but it's very easy for us to connect with new CRMs, with homegrown CRMs, right? Via some kind of URL integration. Of course, that will require two parties for us to talk to your IT department or talk to your IT provider, but we have done a lot of these integration, and we believe we can navigate through that on a fairly quick turnaround time. This is a super important topic, AI and machine learning, right? As I mentioned previously, this is a modular platform. You don't need to get all this functionality from day one, but you already have many examples across our region where AI and machine learning is bringing, a unique value proposition to the customer, right? So this platform is natively integrated with many of the leading AI and machine learning platform. And of course, we have the ability to design a proper CX leveraging these technologies. Sometimes these technologies have more or less success depending on the business requirement, depending on the language that's being used. But you don't need to spend an arm and a leg to do this integration. It's natively done via the platform. All what you need to do is connect to it, and of course there the challenge is always to train the bot, and to set up the bot in a way where they can learn from the various call center agent interaction in order to automate as many tasks as possible. Of course, statistics these days shows that self-serving is a preferred channel over interaction with a human being. Especially with the new generation coming up that can play around with the technology better than the older generation like me. So they have the ability to, or they want to be able to log in and get a speedy service, a self-service, as opposed to talk to an agent where time is being wasted. Of course, the AI and machine learning will work in many situations, but there's in some situations where the interaction or the machine does not allow us to serve the customer properly. In those situations, the technology would detect that we're not answering the agent or the customer, and we can pass that whole history to the agent in order for the agent to pick up the conversation from there. Yeah. So this is super, super important technology these days, and we've done different rollout, leveraging different bots in order to bring that competitive edge to the businesses that are required. So this is in a nutshell what we wanted to cover from a presentation perspective. We have a quick demonstration we'd like to show you. It's a demonstration of an omnichannel solution with the CRM, with Dynamics 365. But before that, let me see if we have any questions that we can take before we go into the demonstration. Okay. If there's any question, Junaid, I don't know if we can open up to see if somebody has a question.
As of now, there are no questions, Najib.
Okay, sure. No problem. So let me go ahead and Junaid, can you hand the control to Mohit? Mohit is going to go through this the demonstration, please.
Done.
Okay, Mohit, are you there?
Najib, there is a question.
Yeah, please. Okay, so the price per agent per month really depends on what's embedded in the agent. As you've seen here, we've talked about many technologies that are modular from a perspective. I would say the startup price is around $110, and then from there it will scale up depending if you need gamification, workforce optimizations, or other things. This is kind of our list price for, for what I would say it's a rich bundle. It includes quality monitoring, it includes agents inbound, outbound, it includes email routing, quality monitoring, right? So it has many different functionality with our base bundle, which we believe is extremely competitive. But at the same time, this will scale up, right, depending on what is being used. Any other question? Okay, great. So let me hand the control to Mohit. Mohit, yeah, we can see
Hi,
your screen.
good morning, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you're able to see my screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen. Please go ahead.
Okay, all right. So I'm just going to give you a quick demo on how the agent interface works with the Microsoft Dynamics 365. And I will also show you the supervisor interface. So first, I'm going to show you the agent interface, which is integrated with the Microsoft Dynamics 365 online. So as you can see on my screen, I'm logged in into the Dynamics 365, and the agent connector is already embedded inside the Dynamics screen. So agents have to work on just a single screen. Uh, this setup that you are seeing is what we are building for one of the banks. So this bank has multiple channels using the customers will contact the bank. So the agents are able to receive multiple type of interactions, for example, chat, email, and inbound and outbound calls. So I will quickly show you how an inbound call works. So I'm calling the number. So as you can see, based on the calling number, the connector was able to search the customer name, and it pops up the customer information. And on the right hand side, you can see on the screen, we have multiple various telephony options. For example, if you want, you can hang up the call, you can put the call on hold, or you can, if you want to transfer the call, you can just type the number where you want to transfer the call, and just you can do blind transfer, or you can dial the number, and you can do ad hoc conference with the third party. So the agent can hang up the call, and once they hang up, their session state will be changed to the wrap up mode, as you can see here. So in the wrap up mode, the agent will be given some amount of time to finish their after call work. So once they are finished, they can select the business outcome or disposition code from the list, and they can end the interaction. So once they end the interaction, you can see on the top hand right, the color is green. That means the agent is now available to take the next interaction. So this was an example of how the voice interaction works, inbound voice interaction works. Uh, I will show you how an outbound call can be made through click to dial. So for example, we have this customer's number here. Agent can just click on this phone icon and initiate an outbound call. So as soon as I clicked, it popped up the customer information and placed an outbound call. Okay, so as you can see, once the interaction is closed, the connector creates a call activity in CRM where it fills the call details. For example, I placed an outbound call, so it created an activity which has the information like it was a call to this number, the direction was an outgoing call, call was initiated from this agent and call was placed to this customer. And it also uploads the recording of the interaction in the CRM. So if agent want to listen, they can click on the recording screen and it will give an option to the agent to play the recording. So if agent want to listen to the recording, they can just click on the play button here and they can listen to the recording. So this was how outbound voice interaction work. I will show you how the chat interaction works. So this is basically a click to interact interface. As Naji showed you in the presentation, you can have many widgets on your website where the customers can click and initiate chat, click to chat, click to call, or click to video. So I'm just showing you how a chat interaction can be initiated. So I'm a customer. I will go to the website. I will fill these details. Once I click start, the chat will go to an available agent. As you can see here, so system received the chat and the customer is already opened here. So based on the phone number, it will also show the customer's detail. The phone number that customer puts in before initiating the chat. If it is found in CRM, the pop-up will also come for that customer. So from the same interface, agent can communicate with the customer. And they can hang up the interaction, or if they want to transfer the chat, they can transfer the chat to any of their colleagues. We have another option of shelf and queue, where if agent does not know what to respond to the customer, they can basically put the chat interaction in shelf, and at the later time when they have the answer to reply back to the customer, they can pick the chat from the shelf and respond to the customer. So the chat can be integrated with a bot. So in this setup that we are building right now, we have integration with Google Dialogflow, where the mobile app user initiates chat, and the chat first goes to the bot. If bot is not able to reply, the chat goes to the available agent. So similarly, we can integrate the chat with Microsoft bot as well, where if Microsoft bot is not able to reply to the customer queries, bot can hand off the chat to an available agent. So once the chat interaction is finished, agent can select a business outcome, and they can just click end wrap up to become available in the service. So similarly, agents can be assigned to multiple type of interactions. For example, email, chat, voice, social media like Facebook and Twitter. Now I will show you the supervisor interface. So the supervisor interface is also a GUI based interface, and it's very easy to use. So once the supervisor will log in, they will be provided these options to search for the interactions which have happened. So let's say if the supervisor want to search for a call and listen to the call recording, they can go to the interaction history and select the direction of the call, and they can search for the interactions. So here they can see what was the start time, end time, and the duration of the interaction. They can even see the recording of the chat interactions as well as voice. Let's say if they want to listen to the voice recording, they can just click on that interaction and click on recordings, and they will be able to play the recording as well. If they want to export the recording, they can just click on this three dots here and they can export the recording as well. Then we have the Outbound section is basically for creating outbound campaigns. We have 3 type of outbound campaigns: power, predictive, and preview. So all those campaigns can be managed from the outbound. Then inside reporting, we have some standard reports available in the system, which provide most of the required information for any contact center. But if a customer feels that the standard reports are not providing all the information in one single report, then we can customize the reports and upload it into the system, so that customer can pull the reports anytime they want. So we have this reports available. For example, service monthly report, which shows you how many calls were received for a specific service within a month. So this report is showing for the month of June how many calls were received for, let's say, this inbound service. So we can see how many calls were offered, how many calls were handled, how many calls were got rejected.
Yeah.
Similarly,
Yeah,
yeah,
Mohit, maybe we can pause for a second because we're
yeah.
running a bit out of time. So I just want to see, is there any other questions right now that we might be able to address, guys? Of course, what you just have seen here, to summarize, this is a platform that is hosted in Azure, because our customer has elected, to use it to host in Azure. We got a virtual machines, multiple virtual machines for redundancy in Azure. Yeah, and the customer is, is using our platform integrated with Dynamics 365 in order to build a 360 experience to the customer. So as Mohit mentioned, we have voice channel, email channel, chat, and now soon, we're going to add a social network. We're going to roll out for this customer. The bot and the cognitive services are being used here. We're not going to have a chance to do full demonstration, but all this functionality are able rich, and we'll be more than happy to talk to you one-on-one if this is something of interest to you guys. Yeah. Is there any questions that you have at the stage that we might be able to entertain? Let me see here. Sure. Please share presentation. Okay, Ranjan. Okay. Any other question? Sure. So I guess we'll share the presentation with you guys via an email. If you have any questions or any specific customers or any specific scenarios that you would like to discuss, by all means, please do contact us. We'll be more than happy to discuss with you guys to see how we can take our partnership to the next level. All right. Thank you very much, Junaid.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for such an insightful session. Thanks again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.